Here we are on another Monday morning. It is February. I had to look at the calendar for a second. It's February 21st, 2022. This is episode 3 of Clash Island. The syndicated TV show, well, could it be considered on TV since it's not on TV? It's a show. It's a podcast. That's also a show. We are here on the show where we talk about everything from anime, movies, video games, current events, news, etc. We literally go from A to Z on this channel, and here we are once more. And unfortunately, you have been marooned on Clash Island. I am your host. You can call me Darian. You can call me DEFF-SOUL, and we're gonna jump right into it. We got a lot of things to talk about. First and foremost, a very big story. Let's go ahead and switch over so you can see our talking points for today. We're gonna talk about Kanye West versus Pete Davidson. Hot topic right there for obvious reasons. We're going to talk about the current status of relationships in 2022. We're going to talk about the release of, absolute surprise release of Street Fighter 6. And we're going to talk about the current racial standings here in America. That might be one of our shorter topics today because it's not a lot to report. There are some things, but it's not a lot to report. But let's jump right into it. In chronological order, we would talk about Kanye West versus Pete Davidson, something that honestly should not be discussed. And not because it's not important, because it absolutely is important. I'm just trying to figure out why is this man, being Kanye West, so fixated on his ex-wife's, mind you, ex-wife's new man. And most people would understand Kanye West's position in the situation, seeing as how he's clearly jealous. He clearly misses his wife, and he clearly wishes for another chance. Unfortunately, Kim seems to have had her wits end with his erratic and aloof behavior when they're together. One of the more ridiculous stories that came out of their previous marriage was the fact that, and this was reported by Kim Kardashian herself on their show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. She said, and I quote, "He yelled at me and got very upset because he didn't like the designs on the band-aids that I gave him." Like, even, okay, listen. It's clearly not all Kanye West, because this is Kim's fourth marriage. It's clearly not all him. But if that story is even halfway true, at some point you got to get tired of stuff like that. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, man, come on. How old are you? Oh, seriously, isn't he in his mid-40s? Like, bro, come on, man, come on, dog. You cannot be that. First of all, that's weird. And of all things to get onto your wife about, the design on a band-aid. Let me tell you something, man. I am a grown ass man. I let most of my scars and cuts heal on their own. No bandages, unless I'm bleeding all over the place. I understand not everybody is considered quote unquote tough, but a band-aid though. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Fact is, it is bizarre, dangerous, and irresponsible for Kanye West to point all these negative feelings that he has about the divorce that he's going through with Kim onto Pete Davidson. That man didn't do anything. It just goes to show you how much people will try to find an enemy in other people instead of addressing their own issues. Kim said it herself. She said she has everything. Kim has, for the 20 years, she's had everything. Her family's been wealthy for a very long time. It's the little things that matter to her. From what she describes, going out on little dates here and there. Him waking up in the morning with her to exercise with her or to help her cook breakfast. Him sitting around watching a TV show with her, them playing around the house, him chasing around the house and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff she needs, because that's a real marriage. Kim wants a real marriage because she has a lot of phony, superficial things in her life. She has that. So what do you look for when you have a bunch of fake shit around you? You look for things that are authentic, things that are real. And she felt like she never really got that with Kanye. And it's not like she didn't back her man up, because she absolutely did. I thought she was crazy for endorsing and backing him up when he was, oh my God, did he humiliate himself in the Oval Office with Donald Trump a couple of years ago. That was disgusting to watch. Let me just go ahead and get that out. Like, I still have never forgiven Kanye West for that. That was the most embarrassing display any grown-ass man, especially a grown black man, should ever put themselves through. If you have not seen it, go to YouTube and type in Kanye West at the Oval Office. It is the most Uncle Tom coonish shit that I have ever seen any black celebrity do ever. He should have been embarrassed as a man and as a black man about his behavior. I'm not going to spoil it for people who haven't seen the video. But please go watch that. Please go watch that. If you care anything about yourself being black or your fellow black people, please go watch that. But again, we're getting off topic. What Kanye West is doing in reference to Pete Davidson is probably going to get Pete hurt. And I don't mean just emotionally. Do you people understand the power of celebrities? How much influence they have on civilians, on garden variety people. You meet anybody, right? Look at Beyonce. Beyonce literally has a cult that follows her. That was started by no fault of her own. The Beehive, they are a real cult. They worship the ground that this woman walks on. And it's because she is such a megastar. They truly believe her music and her performances and her career has panned out their lives for them. And that they want to be in her graces so bad that they literally worship her. You don't think somebody would kill... Random people killed Sharon Tate and her friends, Jeff Sebring and the rest of her friends at her house while she was pregnant for Charles Manson. So just imagine somebody, a megastar, she is a million times more famous than he is. If they killed, Sharon Tate and Jay Sebring for her or for him, trust me when I say a member of the Beehive will kill for Beyonce. They will kill for her in the blink of an eye. Kanye West is that famous. You cannot, without provocation, pick somebody as your enemy like that when you're that much of a star. Somebody can get to Pete Davidson. He's nowhere near as famous or as wealthy as Kanye West. People can get to him. And to make you feel like they're one of your subjects, that they're a member of your court, they'll kill him for Kanye. They'll hurt him. Kim recognized that. And not just because she's studying to be a lawyer, but because she has common sense. You're going to get him hurt. And then the fact that Kanye West wouldn't even respect this man enough to call him by his actual name. He literally called this man Skeet over a text message. Don't do that. Like, don't do it. You're already putting him in a bad position. Like, don't disrespect the man, but not even calling him by his name. His name is Pete. Don't do that. It baffles me the lengths that people go to find an enemy when there isn't one, when the enemy that they're looking for is staring them right in the face every time they look in the mirror. Kanye West, in my opinion, clearly has some type of mental issue that he needs to get resolved, and he won't. He's been like this for years, and he won't. I don't know if it's bipolar disorder or some type of mental breakdown that is 7-8 years in the making, but he really, really needs to go get help. Like, it's hard to watch. The breakdowns, the outbursts. You've seen it. Come on, like, you've seen it. The fact that this man said that slavery was a choice. Like, the things that goes on in his head is really starting to alarm me. Now so much that you're targeting your ex-wife's boyfriend. And for what? And you're throwing children into the fray. Your children that you have with Kim has nothing to do with Pete. That man has done nothing to you, to Kim, to your children. He has done nothing to you. And the fact that you are using him as a scapegoat to outlet all of the things that are wrong in your life is not only wrong and irresponsible, it is dangerous. And God forbid that somebody takes it upon themselves to defend Kanye, physically speaking, and they find Pete Davidson somewhere and they cause him bodily harm. God forbid that happens. But that is a reality that Kanye needs to adhere to. You also need to look in the mirror. You are dangerously stalking and harassing your ex-wife. Why? Because she doesn't want to be with you anymore. And why would she? You are literally proving to millions and millions of people why she left you. You're starting to look crazy. And I don't mean garden variety. You're a drama queen type of crazy. I mean, you seem like you're becoming dangerous. Like, what's next? You gonna hire somebody to kill Pete? That's the vibe that you're giving off. Are you gonna hire somebody to kill Pete because you're jealous that she moved on from you? Newsflash: you're not the only celebrity who lost his wife. It happens literally every day. Your life, your personality is something that Kim no longer wanted part of. And again, I am not fully exonerating her. I am not. Because Kim, in my opinion, has proven to be very superficial and unrealistic in the past when it comes to how she perceives life. She's a glamour girl. She's a California girl. She's a glamour girl. She loves jewelry. She loves high fashion. She loves the glitz and glamour of a high profile life, right? And I have never resonated with somebody like that. People like that are fake as hell to me. But it seems like in Kim's current age, Kim is also in her 40s. It seems like where she is right now, she says, you know what? I'm looking for real. I want something. I want to feel something for real. I want that. I want that real run of the mill marriage that lasts for 40 to 50 years, and then we pass away together. She seems like she's in that headspace, and from what it looks like, she may be finding that in somebody she never would have been seen with before. But that's what happens when you grow up. You start looking for things you would have never viewed your head towards the older you get. And she seems to have found that in Pete. I would have never seen this couple coming. Nobody did. Women like Kim traditionally do not date men like Pete. Pete is, honestly, he's a lot like me. He's quirky, he's nerdy, he has a great sense of humor. He's very, very chill. He's not really into the fame that follows him. You know, he's chill, he's in the cut kind of person. Seems very relaxed and just very self-aware. And what I mean by that is this man literally compartmentalizes himself, and he could take himself out of fame and out of society very easily. He's almost never in the media. And when he is, it's something small and it's something that you're pretty much cool with. Now, literally the only thing that Pete does that I personally don't do other than being rich is, painting his fingernails. I can't see myself doing that. But he and I are essentially the same guy. And like I said, people like Kim you'll almost never see them with people like Pete. So it sparked a conversation. Even amongst me and my friends, it sparked conversation. But I'm happy for Pete. I'm happy for Kim. I am concerned with Pete's behavior based on how Kanye is making him look in the public eye. So much so that every day I go on social media, I'm seeing some jackass. And yes, if you agree with Kanye's behavior, yes, I'm calling you a jackass. I'm seeing some jackass say, oh, well, I guess I need therapy too. I don't see anything what Kanye is doing wrong. Because you're a fan of his. That's it. You're a fan of his. That's why you don't see how wrong what he's doing is. It's dangerous. I'm going to give you a point. I'm going to give you an example. I want to say this was 1980. A super fan of John Lennon's, you all know this story, cannot remember his name, was so bruised by something that John Lennon said in an interview on TV by saying, and I quote, "Yeah, we're pretty much more famous than Jesus nowadays." Mind you, this fan had become a born again Christian. Christianity is dangerous. He had become a born again Christian, and he was so absorbed by his religion that he saw John Lennon's words as a reflection of a supreme level of arrogance and blasphemy, so much so that he was so bruised by the ego that John Lennon had in reference to his fame that this man literally took a flight. If I remember correctly, he went from Florida to New York, spent, 2 days there, he did research, found out John Lennon's schedule, waited around at this man's apartment in the bushes. He kept trying to convince himself not to do it. But when he saw John Lennon entering his apartment, he was filled with rage at that one sentence. He was already extremely jealous of John Lennon's popularity. But he was so bruised by what he said. He was so insulted by what he said that he flew hundreds and hundreds of miles to another state on the other side of the country just to wait on this man to enter his apartment, and he shot this man in the back and killed him. That is how powerful celebrity status is. Some people put celebrities on such a high pedestal because of their level of fame that they see them as deities. And when those deities have such an impact on that person's life, sometimes they feel like they need to get violent to protect the notoriety of that celebrity that they worship. Kanye West is not only a billionaire, he is one of the most influential people on this planet over the past 20 or so years. That is a fact. That is not my opinion. Because you are that powerful as a man, you have got to be careful with who you oust as your enemy. Jealousy turns into hatred real fast. I really want him to be careful. I really want him to be careful with what he's doing. And the things that showed up in his text messages with Kim while she was trying her best to talk logic into this man, to tell him how dangerous his behavior was, it was that was even further alarming. Like, she even asked him very simple and logical questions. She was like, okay, listen, I'm trying to tell you what you're doing it's not going to turn out well for anybody, for you, for me, for Pete. It's not going to turn out well for anybody. While she was trying to explain that to him, this man screenshotted you guys saw him, screenshotted the text messages and posted it by saying, to all my fans out there, I don't want you guys to do anything physical to Skeet. That's what he called him. Don't do anything to Skeet, okay? I don't want anybody to hurt him and do anything like that. It was so foolhardy and just ungenuine. It was just not genuine whatsoever. It was just like, okay, guys, don't hurt Skeet. All right, I'll deal with this situation on my own. I don't want to catch a charge or anything like that. It was so ungenuine. It was gross. It really made you feel like, okay, he was sarcastically telling them not to hurt Pete because he wants them to hurt Pete. And he went and posted the screenshots, and she immediately was like, why are you posting our messages? What the hell is wrong with you? I'm literally trying to tell you you're going to cause him bodily harms. Inadvertently, maybe. Indirectly cause him bodily harm. Somebody's going to hurt him if you keep this shit up. Like, will you stop? This man responded with, now mind you, this is her former husband and the father of her children, said, and I quote, well, I got a text message from my favorite celebrity. I'm your number one fan. Why wouldn't I want to tell everybody that my number one celebrity, I'm her number one fan, and my favorite celebrity texted me? Why wouldn't I tell the world? Because you're doing something that could cause this man, her boyfriend, harm. The fact that didn't... Kanye is incredibly intelligent. Let me get this out first. So the fact that didn't register in his head really makes me think that he needs to go get psychological help and won't. Like, do we need to Baker Act this man? I really need him to understand his level of success. His level of success, his level of fame dictates that he needs to move in a certain way to maintain safety. Vice versa. How do you know Pete Davidson doesn't have a fan that worship the ground he walks on? How do you know he doesn't have a crazy ass fan like that will defend him with his life, or will take another life to defend him? You don't know that. You do not know that. So, because you don't know that, you can't go out there putting that vibe out like you want something to happen to him, or that this man is stealing your wife from you. Hey, come on, man. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? This man literally bought a house across the street from his ex-wife. Who does that? That's weird. Like, that's scary and that's weird. You does anybody? Am I the only one seeing this? Like, how dangerous this shit is? How many times have we seen some rich asshole? No, I'm not calling Kanye West an asshole, but for the sake of the conversation, some rich asshole is so bruised by the fact that his wife walked out on him that he starts to use his wealth to harass her. How many times have we seen that? Dozens, right? We've seen this plenty of times for this to be relevant, for this to be alarming. Look at what happened to OJ's wife. Now, I'm not saying OJ did it because I don't think he was stupid enough to actually be there. But you're trying to tell me this man, NFL Hall of Famer, by the way, doesn't have the resources and the funds to hire somebody to kill his wife? Because if I remember correctly, mind you, I was a child when this story came out. But if I remember correctly, wasn't she cheating with some other? Well, I forgot what the other guy's name was that was murdered. Wasn't she cheating? And then they were both stabbed to death. Now, mind you, I don't think he did it. I don't think he was there. But let's be real. He had something to do with that shit. He really did. Come on now. Come on now. That's apparent. That's what we call apparent evidence. But they couldn't prove it. So he walked. If he could do that, trust me, Kanye West could too. If his emotional state got bad enough, he absolutely could do that. He's a billionaire. Nobody wants that. He doesn't want that. Kim doesn't want that. Pete doesn't want that. Nobody wants that. So to all the people out there who think what Kanye West is doing is okay, you need to go get help. Oh, I don't see nothing wrong with it. That man he's going through a lot. He wants his wife back. We all go through a lot. But not all of us are harassing our ex-wife because she left us. Not all of us is putting out a stigma, putting out an idea in the heads of his fans that he sees Pete as his enemy. We are all not doing that shit. That can get somebody killed. I just need him to really use his intellect and reflect. Really reflect. And the people around Kanye, because let me tell you something. All famous people know each other. They all do. I don't know if somebody who knows Kanye, somebody who's close to Kanye, or even if he has anybody else close to him. Maybe Kim was the last person he considers close to him. Who knows? Somebody needs to contact him and say, hey, man, listen. You're scaring us. That is a hard conversation to have, but it needs to be, bro, you're scaring us. And I really want to know what's going on up here, because it's like your light bulb is not coming on. Just something's not registering in your head that will show you, okay, I need to chill out. I didn't appreciate my wife. I took her for granted and she walked out on me. That's what happened. No matter how much you don't want to admit that, that's what happened. You did not take your wife seriously. She's going to always be there. She's going to support me. Did you support her enough? I didn't say hype her career as a TV personality. Were you with her? Were you really with her when she was studying to be a lawyer? Were you really with her when she wanted to take the kids to the park? When she woke up and she wanted her husband to massage her back and her feet, were you doing that shit? That's what she wants. When she slept in, did you get up, clean the house up, and make breakfast for her and the children? Did you do that? That's what he needs to ask himself. Don't pin that shit on Pete. He's doing what you should have did. Treat that woman like she's special. She is. You're not gonna find 100. You're not gonna find 100 Kim Kardashians. You're not. Kim has always been beautiful, even before surgeries. She was always a beautiful woman. She was already in the public eye. She was already up there. Then she made an empire for herself. Not just her show or her sex tape or her makeup line or her clothing line. She put herself up there before she got with you. So she never needed your money. What else can you give to that woman that she can't buy for herself? What else could you offer this woman? And for a while, she was getting it from you. Whatever it was that she saw in you, she was getting it until she wasn't getting it. And she walked out, and Pete Davidson stepped up, and that's what happened. Leave that man alone. Seriously, leave him alone before you get somebody killed. Okay, so we're going to switch gears. We're going to swap over. And we are going to talk about something very similar to the topic that we were just discussing. Relationships in 2022. Apparently, from the vlog channel that I have with my sister on YouTube, it's called 20 G's and Soul. She's 20 G's, I'm Soul. On the vlog channel that we have, apparently you guys really like when I talk about relationships. Apparently, my perspective on how I view relationships and how they should be viewed is something that you guys find even slightly entertaining. And I absolutely appreciate that. I really, really do. I, for one, I've dated over a dozen girls in my lifespan, right? Since I was what? Since I was 18, I've dated over a dozen girls. I want to say probably 15, which to most of you, that would be an alarmingly high number. I do want to understand, I do want everybody who's watching this to understand something. I am very self-aware when it comes to reflecting on who it is that I am and what I do and how I treat other people. I do research into myself. When I realize, I'm like, okay, none of these relationships are lasting very long. None of them seem to be working. Is it me? I was man enough and an adult enough to look at myself and really do some research. I took years off. I was single for 3 whole years, and I did research into myself. I went down the list, and I started to ask other people who know me closely. What is it about me that you feel like would put a woman off? What is it about me that you would feel like after a few months a woman would start to look elsewhere? Would start to go, okay, this is no longer for me. I wanna go somewhere else. I wanna do something else. I wanna see other people, or they just outright cheat or break up with me and they leave, right? What is it about me that is causing these relationships to not last more than a few months? The longest relationship I had was about a year long, and I'm gonna be 30 next month. So it was very alarming for me when I really looked at my life and how it's, romantically speaking, it's not going anywhere near as well as I would like it to. So much so that in the past, even now, um, it really depresses me when I look at all of the failures in the relationships that I've had. So I really sat back and I went, okay, do I treat my women right? From what they told me, that's a yes. Do I make my women feel special? That was a yes. Am I fair? Do I listen? Do I appreciate the little things? Am I patient? Am I responsible? Am I respectful? Am I quick to act? And, you know, do I not think before I say certain things or do certain things? Like, what is it about me that's putting these women off that they don't see me as a long time option? I asked my exes. They all came to the same conclusion. It wasn't you. It was us. Every last one of them said the same thing. I've never cheated. Right? Out of all the relationships I've had, I've never cheated. I've never wanted to cheat. So based on everything that I just told you, I think I have a pretty good understanding of relationships and how they should be carried out. Why I cannot make them work, I have no idea. Because usually when you keep breaking up with people for similar reasons, that means it's you. Right? Or at least I thought. Even my most recent ex, I've been single since January of last year. So I've been single for what? 13 months, right? Almost 14. Even my ex now, she tells me the same thing. It wasn't you, it was me. I didn't appreciate you. I took you for granted. I wasn't very nice to you. I let my insecurities get in between the two of us, and I ultimately sabotaged our relationship. And even though that was a very big thing for me, that she confessed that to me, it still put me in a headspace where I'm like, okay, that's all great, but we're still not together, and we're not going to be. I'm still single again. So what is it, right? The fact that I was able to ask myself that question showed growth. So in reference to what I'm about to say, I feel like I have a pretty good understanding. I've dated whites, I've dated blacks, I've dated Hispanics, I've dated Asians, I've dated a couple of Europeans, I've dated women who were older than me, younger than me, my age. I've dated girls who were shy, I dated extroverts, I dated girls who were just completely perverted, and the majority of the relationship was based on sex. I dated girls who did drugs. I dated girls who were recovering alcoholics. I dated girls who were bookworms, who were business women, who absolutely did not have time for me. I dated every type of woman that I could think of. So I think when it comes to relationships in 2022, I think I have a decent understanding. So now that we got that out, let's put this out. I believe that the current relationship status quo where we are in 2022 is abysmal. And for those of you who don't know what that word means, it means just completely bad. Just disgustingly bad. I think relationships are ending faster and lasting a lot less because people are glorifying being selfish and being toxic. Two things you absolutely cannot be in a healthy relationship. And since women are being more empowered now to be more independent, when their boyfriend or their husband is toxic, they'll walk. They will walk. They will not stick around and deal with your bullshit anymore, dude. They will walk. Unfortunately, that is having an adverse reaction as well. The relationship still ended. Regardless of how it ended, it still ended. And from what we've seen in the past, year and a half, almost 2 years, what do we know about the it couple? It was, for the longest time, it was Will and Jada. They were the it couple. They had the most public and most seemingly seamless marriage out of anybody that we know, right? They essentially had a flawless marriage, or so we thought. And then the Red Table Talk came out. And then mountains and mountains of harsh times and hardships came out of both of their mouths. Infidelity and cheating and just being completely unsatisfied in the bedroom. All that shit came out. And it really put it into perspective for everybody. If they broke up, if they weren't happy, then who is? Who has the quote unquote perfect relationship? Short answer, nobody. It doesn't exist. It does not exist. What we're seeing now is an era where people are becoming more and more self-efficient, emotionally speaking, but also more dependent on validation. And they find that validation in other people. They find that validation in social media. What seems to be, in their eyes, what seems to count, what seems to be real, is being glorified on social media. When you have millions and millions of followers and they say, oh, you guys' relationship is so beautiful and so perfect, to most people nowadays, that's real. That's what makes it real. And nothing could be further from the truth. Social media is just that. It is media. Media can be written off as propaganda, can be fabricated. And another word for fabricated is untrue. Another term for being a fabrication is something being untrue. You can paint any picture you want on social media and tell everybody that it's real. It can be as fake as a $3 bill, but you can make everybody believe that it's real depending on the amount of notoriety it gets, whether or not it goes viral. And that shit is really damaging relationships at this current place in time. People are not being fair. People are not taking accountability whatsoever. And for the people who follow me on social media, I do want you to understand something, because I have been called this numerous times. It is incredibly insulting and incorrect. When I call women out on their bullshit, I need everybody to understand something. I also equally call men out on their bullshit, as I just did with Kanye West. equally call men out on their bullshit. Because I truly believe this, and this is a fact. About half, well, so to speak, about half of men, simply, to put it simply, ain't shit. While also at the same time, about half of women simply ain't shit. Half of men are abusive and selfish and disrespectful and just completely devoid of common sense, completely devoid of how you should, having the knowledge of how you should treat somebody else. Women mirror that almost exactly. Half of women mirror that. Men cheat, women cheat. Men lie, women lie. Men are selfish, women are selfish. Men are irresponsible, so are women. They literally mirror themselves. It is not most men that ain't shit, and it is not most women. I want to get that out first. When you see me call out women on social media for the stupid and just completely irresponsible and rude and disrespectful shit that they do, I also do that for men. Now, if you see me speak more about women and the shit that they do, I need you to understand something. I am only sexually attracted to women. I only date women. Right? So when I talk, if I seem like I talk more about women, that's because I only date women. Right? I am literally a straight male. I know we're a dying breed in today's society, but I'm a straight male. So, having said that, I'm going to start with the guys. Fellas, I know the vibe is being put out there that because men are naturally more, we find it far easier to separate our emotions from sex. That does not mean you have the right to go out and cheat. It is not okay for you to cheat. I get it. With men, it's different. For us, it's about quantity and not quality. And for women, it's vice versa. It is increasingly difficult for women to separate their emotions from sex. It's very easy for men to do it, so to speak. That does not give you the right. You cannot tell somebody you love them and go out and cheat. That's bullshit. If you cheat on whoever it is that you're dating, you do not love them. Not as much, nowhere near as much as you think you do. Because cheating hurts people, right? If you go out and willingly, because cheating is never a mistake, if you go out and willingly cause somebody harm, you don't care about them. Not as much as you think you do. You do not care half as much about them as you think you do. The same way if you lie to somebody's face, depending on what it's about, you don't care that much about them because you lied to their face. Oh, I lied to you because I care about you. No. You are afraid of what their reaction was going to be. That's not the same thing. That is not the same thing. When you cheat, it is always your fault. Let me say that again. When you cheat, it is always your fault. Doesn't matter in what capacity it comes in. And no, having sex with somebody is not only cheating. That is not the only basis for what cheating is considered. And I've said this numerous times. If at any point you give somebody the same type of attention that you would give your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and you hide that from the person that you deliberately hide that from the person that you consider to be your significant other, you're cheating. Period. That means text messages. That means hanging out with them and you lie about it, or you hide it, or you downplay it. That is cheating because you know how it would make them feel. You know how they're going to react. It's not like, oh, well, I hid that from you because I knew you would get jealous. So why did you still do it? Because in that moment, even if it was incredibly brief, you did not care about their feelings. You wanted to do it so bad that you were willing to sacrifice your entire relationship for a brief moment of dishonesty. I should have wrote that shit down. Anyway, that type of behavior is being put to the forefront nowadays, and it absolutely should not be. You cannot be aloof. You cannot be distant. You cannot be inconsiderate of your significant other's feelings and then expect them to stay with you. You cannot say, oh, well, I know I ain't shit and I'm toxic and not everybody can handle me. You need to grow the fuck up. That goes for men and women. We don't have time for that. Life is short. COVID is killing us by the truckloads. HIV is killing us by the truckloads. Car accidents, mass shootings. Like it's way more important shit than going on in the world that is taking human beings out for us to deal with your toxicity. Grow the fuck up. It's not cute. It's not popular. It is only going to ruin your relationship statuses going on. It is only going to damage your viability as a romantic option for people to come behind whoever it is that you just broke up with. It's going to ruin your reputation as somebody to be seen, to be taken seriously in reference to a relationship. Let that shit go. Grow up. Reflect. Embrace what you are and make changes. Speak for yourself and impact your behavior based on the lessons that you've learned. Change. We get it. A lot of you have deep emotional scarring. A lot of you have been abused. A lot of you have been cheated on. A lot of you have been lied to and put down and been made to feel like you don't matter. A lot of you have been disrespected and disgraced and humiliated. I get it. It happens to most people. Believe it or not, it happens to most people. When you are 18 years of age or older, it is nobody's fault but yours. Fix yourself. That is your responsibility. Your triggers are nobody else's responsibility but yours. Fix yourself. You are hurting other people. I get it. It's being popularized nowadays, but that does not mean it's a good thing or that you should carry that with you. Grow up. I cannot emphasize that enough. That shit irks the hell out of me. That makes my spinal column itch. Grow the fuck up. And just because I sound passionate about this, trust me when I say I am not angry. Just want to go ahead and get that up. Go ahead and get that out real quick. We as people have to get back to where we used to be in reference to self-reflection and making improvements. Some people have had terrible parenting. Some people grew up in foster care. Some people had to raise themselves. Some of you were abused by people right in your own immediate family. And I don't mean just physical abuse. I get it. But things change. People change. You can change. Stop looking for validation on social media. Stop using the popularity or toxicity as an excuse for you to continue to go out there and ruin other people. Nobody asked for you to come in and break somebody's heart. Nobody will ever ask for that. No one will ever ask for that. Yeah, I want you to come in and just ruin my life. Just make my emotional state completely dismal. Nobody asks for that. I know what's going on right now. I do. And I know celebrities, certain ones, are glorifying that behavior. I know other celebrity relationships are seemingly going in that exact direction. Where it looks great, and then 5 to 6 years later, you found out that everything you thought was all hunky-dory with them was a goddamn lie. I understand that. But understand this. Every adult, 18 years or older, you are absolutely responsible for your behavior. That has always been a fact and will always be a fact. How you treat people is a reflection of you. Oh, because I've always been cheated on, I'm going to start cheating on people because it happened to me and now everybody's going to see how it feels. You sound stupid. I'm just going to, if that's hurtful, maybe that's what you need for you to grow up. If that was harsh, maybe that's what you need. That is nobody else's fault. If we're not the people who cheated on you, don't take that shit out on innocent people. Don't. I hate that. I'm just go ahead and tell you right. I hate that stigma and that mindset. Because somebody did it to me, I'm going to do it to you. Don't do that. I'm living proof that you don't have to do shit like that. And I'm not special. I'm not some goddamn unicorn. There are millions of men just like me. There are millions of women just like me. We've been hurt by other people. Severely hurt by other people. I don't go out and hurt others. I never have. I can honestly say that with no ego. I have never gone out and hurt somebody else because of the way people treated me in the past. I've been bullied. I never went out and bullied somebody. I've been talked about. I do not go out and talk shit about people. I've been abused. I've never abused somebody else. If I can do that, you can too. I don't want to hear shit about your zodiac sign. I don't want to hear shit about your upbringing. I don't want to hear shit about your parenting. None of that matters. At some point, you have to change or move to a desolate island and be by yourself until you pass away. Those are your choices. Adapt. Reflect. Take some time off from dating. If that shit takes 10 years, do it. Nobody asked for you to go out and use your toxicity against them when they didn't ask for that shit. While on the other hand, people who are hopeless romantics like me, we want to be loved so bad that sometimes we overlook, as what they call it in today's society, we overlook the red flags because we see potential in people. Which you always should see potential in other people. That's called having a heart. That's called being understanding. But at the same time, that shit can lead to heartache. I understand everything you go through. I understand. I also understand this simple and undeniable fact. No matter what somebody says about you, right? You are what you do. Let me say that again for the people in the back. No matter what other people say about you, because all of that shit can be hearsay. No matter what people say about you, you are what you do. If you spend your time lying to people numerous times over the course of years, guess what? You're a liar. If you spend the course of your life stealing from multiple people over the course of years, you're a thief. If you've killed multiple people over the course of multiple years, you're a murderer. Period. If you spend your time cheating on multiple people over the course of years, you're a cheater. That's how it works. So when somebody has that information about you, don't act like, why are you treating me that way? We are going to start treating you how you behave. As it should be. That is why jobs are reluctant to hire people who have a track record of what? Theft. If you have theft on your record, you will not get a job at anywhere where there is merchandise being sold that has a dollar value attached to it. That's how it works. When you do something wrong in the past multiple times, it smears your resume going forward. I should have wrote that shit down. You spend your time hurting people. Eventually, the masses, multiple people, will catch wind of that shit. And they're going to start treating you how you should be treated based on your behavior, on the things that you do. And that is the current state of where we are right now in these United States. And we have got to change. We were not meant to be like that. No relationship was supposed to go like that. Toxicity, again, before we move on, is not cute. It's not. It never was. It's not acceptable. If you are an adult, it is your responsibility to change yourself. We need to get back to what we used to do. And I'm not talking about in the 50s because a lot of those marriages were abusive. There was a lot more rapings back then that was considered okay because that's how society ran. There was a lot more men slapping their wives around. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about getting back to our grandparents' era. I'm talking about getting to a place where we are completely fair. That we behave in a way that would improve the relationship and not decrease it, not diminish it. Because you have been treated wrong, you should know how you should treat people, not the other way around. Again, your triggers, whatever they may be, are your responsibility. Nobody has to tiptoe around on eggshells to save your little feelings. You can't help how you feel. I understand that. But you can't help how your current feelings dictate how you treat other people. And with that, we are moving on. All right. Oh, I did not mean to click on that. Well, there's no thumbnail for this. So I guess I'll just blank this out for now. Racial standings in the United States right now. We are still not where we should be as a country when it comes to race relations. There's still a heavy, dark cloud of racism and bigotry and misinformation and discrimination going on here in this country. And it's not just exclusive to blacks. That's the most prominent and most popular one, but it's not just exclusive to blacks. It happens every day to Hispanics, to Middle Easterners. It happens to Asians. Way more than it should. But as an Aries, I have to be a little more optimistic. That is what I do. And optimistically speaking, if that is a word, it seems that things are starting to calm down a little bit from what they were back in 2020. Starting to calm down a little bit. Now, yes, a racial situation just happened in the public eye where I got to get her name. Because this is important. I don't want to throw out anything that's vague right now. Let me get her name. Former officer Kim Potter. White woman. White police officer. Just got 2 years for manslaughter. For a how can I put this? For a wrongful death, for being at fault for the wrongful death of Dante Wright. Shot him and killed him. Without proper cause. This is the second time in the past 5 years that this has happened. White lady cop kills black man, gets ridiculously short sentence. Now, she wasn't prosecuted for murder, right? But she was convicted of manslaughter. If I remember correctly, that's at least 15. You're out on 8 with good behavior. She got 2 years. Because she's a white woman. And because she's a cop. And this is why I don't like cops. Now, before you guys say anything, oh, well, I hope you keep that same energy when you need to call the cops. I did call the cops recently. I called them twice in the past 3 months. Both times, they never came out here. Somebody was being assaulted. A woman was being assaulted in the apartment above mine. They did not come out here. So to all the people out there who look at cops as heroes, I need you to understand something. If they all did their job the way that they should, there would be no need for internal affairs. The fact that internal affairs exist means that a large number of police officers do not do their job the same for everybody. They don't. Or they're actively, deliberately breaking the law. Like this woman did. I get it. Some of my white viewers are going to say it's easy for me to say that because I'm a civilian and because I'm black. So obviously I'm biased. Of course I'm biased. That could have been me. There's nothing special about me. That could have been me. I would be turned over in my goddamn grave if the person who killed me only got 2 years in prison. For manslaughter. Do y'all know what manslaughter is? That means you inadvertently but directly caused the death of somebody else. Whatever you did caused their death. Whether or not you meant to do it is irrelevant. That's what manslaughter is. Okay, so if you're driving drunk, to give you an example, if you're driving drunk, which is illegal, you lose control of your car, you crash into another car, you kill somebody, guess what? You're going to prison for 15 years for what? Vehicular manslaughter. You deliberately, because you knew it was wrong. You deliberately, but inadvertently, you didn't mean to do it, killed somebody else. So while things are a lot calmer than they were 2 years ago, or even a year ago, it's a huge racial event that took place. The insurrection that took place at the Capitol. That was a year and a month ago, right? Things seem to be calming down a little bit since then, which is great. But that doesn't mean racism isn't still laying on us like a goddamn blanket. It is out there. We see it literally every day. I got called a nigger last night. I literally got called a nigger last night. That's how. That's crazy. True story. This actually happened. Now, mind you, yes, it was on Xbox, but this guy on my team, it wasn't even an enemy. Guy on my team got mad because I asked him to do his damn job. And he said, "Shut up, you fucking nigger." You see how easy that is? How normal that is for them? Oh yeah, now I'm mad. Let me throw out something racist because I know it's gonna hurt your feelings. That is so common. I literally got called a nigger last night. So, ladies and gentlemen who are not minorities, when you tell us that racism is dying down and we need to let it go because slavery was, 200 years ago or whatever, when you say stuff like that, that's what agitates black people, because we still deal with what I dealt with last night, seemingly every day. And for those of you out there who are Caucasian and you are not racist, I commend you. I do. I appreciate you. But that does not mean you're still not very naive to what's going on in blacks and minorities every day, because a lot of you are. And it's mainly the people who say stuff like all lives matter. Don't do that. Please don't be one of those people. Those kind of people detest me. Like they really upset me. And the reason being is because that type of mindset is so short-sighted that it's ridiculous. It's so short-sighted that it's ridiculous. You cannot tell somebody what they are or are not experiencing when you are not a member of their culture. Period. I would never tell whites what they do or don't experience. I would never tell any other race, Hispanics, Asians, whatever, what they don't experience or what they should be happy for. Well, at least you got this. You don't get to tell anybody that's not your race group that. Well, at least you get this. We shouldn't be getting least. We're all supposed to be equal, right? At least that's what the Constitution says. We're all supposed to be equal in God's eyes, right? Because, here in this country, 90% of the country is still Christian. So, based on the Christian faith that dominates our society, we're all supposed to be equal, right? So why am I being harassed? Why am I being called a nigger when my white counterparts, are seemingly on a daily basis, isn't being called a cracker? Or a honky? Or mayonnaise or some racial shit like that? If that's not happening to you daily, don't tell somebody else what they're not experiencing. It is still a serious problem in this country, and it still happens every day. But I am optimistic about the fact that we're slowly starting to make progress. Why? Because you don't have a racist in the office. It all in the Oval Office. It all filters down step by step, all the way from the main seat all the way down to us little people. When you have somebody in the biggest seat on the planet promoting racism, it's going to make people think racism is okay. It's going to make people who are confused, are naive, are ignorant, it's going to make them think that that's normal. And it's not. It's normal for blacks because we've been dealing with that since we were first brought to this country. It's normal for Hispanics since they first started to migrate to this country. It's normal for Asians when they first started to migrate for this country. But it should not be normal because we were all supposed to be equal. Right? So, optimistically speaking, things seem to be doing a little better, which I predicted. when that clown that we had as our president was removed. That's how it works. When you have certain people in certain seats, the status quo changes. Sometimes not as fast as we would like, but the status quo changes. Now, yes, it's not perfect, but we gotta look for the little victories here and there. You have not been hearing on the national news level, maybe at the local level, but in the national news level, you have not been hearing as many racially profiled events taking place in the past 6 or so months. There's still some out there, like the Kyle Rittenhouse shit. Like that wasn't that long ago. So it exists, but in a shorter supply. So we have to take those more victories when we get them. All right. Lastly, before we end the show, quick news. Apparently, and let me open this up. Now, mind you, I'm not a huge fan of Capcom as its company and its games, but they have gems out there. And one of those gems, probably is their biggest game ever, is Street Fighter, right? Speaking of Street Fighter, apparently Street Fighter 6 was announced today. Where did that come from? Either I'm not as versed in gaming news as I thought I was, but that was surprising. And apparently Ryu has a goatee now. Okay, I like the progression. It's a little more real. But I was, now mind you, me myself, I was always more of a Tekken fan. My main three are Bob. My number one all time is martial law. Bob, martial law, and Steve Fox. Those are my three. And you might throw Kazuya in there a little bit. Now, my kinship with him came from the fact that he looks just like Prince Vegeta. But I was always more of a Tekken fan. But you gotta respect Street Fighter. Street Fighter is up there with Mortal Kombat and Tekken in reference to being the three most popular fighting game franchises ever. To me, I think the most popular one is Mortal Kombat. But if there was a close second, it would be Street Fighter. So, what do we know about Street Fighter? It's explosive, it's immersive, it's deep, it's visceral, it's stylish, it's cool, and it's difficult to play. Well, for me, it was. I always found Tekken to be way easier to play. To get the combos in Street Fighter, you literally need one of those arcade controllers with the analog stick because it's only so much you could input into an Xbox One controller, like dead ass. It's only so much you could put in. But if this one is anything like Street Fighter 5, wait, no, which one was better? Street Fighter 4 was better, wasn't it? Street Fighter 4 was better. If it's anything like Street Fighter 4, this should be a great installment. I have nothing to go on but a teaser trailer showing this new look Ryu. He's a little older. Buffer, too. Mind you, Ryu was always buff, but like, oh my god. Looks like the Hulk. Like, literally, like, look at that image of him right there. Like, tint his skin a little more toward the green. He's the Hulk. But, first of all, my favorite character in Street Fighter was always Ken. That's just me, though. I don't know if it was the red gi that he wears or blonde hair or the fact that he uses flame-based attacks, which I find I resonate with, seeing as how I'm a fire sign. But my favorite was always Ken. But this is a huge announcement. I'm going to do some research to see what I can find about this game. But yeah, Street Fighter 6 is on the way. And if they're showing a teaser trailer now, we could probably expect it when? Winter? Maybe sooner? Maybe over the summer? Hopefully. But that does it for our show today. Thank you guys for watching. This will be uploaded to YouTube later. So I think the first 2 episodes are on there since I redid the podcast format. Yes, they're definitely on there. They can be watched. This is also being broadcast live on Twitch at the moment. So if I keep peering over to my left, that is why. Make sure that there's nothing in the comments and the chat. As always, you guys are absolutely amazing. I appreciate you for listening. I appreciate you for watching. I cannot talk right now. Our next episode, we are going to discuss my top 5 anime side characters. There we go. Not anime main characters, anime side characters. And we're going to talk about that. We're not going to do a full show. We're not going to do the hour-long show. We're going to cut that one down to probably 30 minutes. And you guys know who. Come on now. Like, if you know me, you know who number one is. You know who number one is. I don't even need to go into it, but we'll save that for next time. In fact, I'm pretty energetic today, so I might film that today, as a matter of fact. Like a little special half episode or whatever for the podcast. But that does it for our show. We are out of here, y'all. As always, this is DEFF-SOUL. Go over to teespring.com/store/DEFF-SOUL to copy your piece of the clothing brand. It is not merch. I was about to say merch. It's not merch. It's the actual clothing brand. I literally have everything for everybody. We're all about inclusion, not exclusion at DEFF-SOUL. But yeah, go ahead and check that out. Follow my social right there. If you're watching me on Twitch, head over to the About section and you can find any of my social medias there. But yes, we are out of here, y'all. Thank you for watching.